Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be unboxing the long-awaited NOLO VR. So, if you guys don't know what this is, it basically transforms your good old Google Cardboard headset setup into an HTC VIVE. Sounds great, right? Well, let's find out if it's any good. So, I've been waiting for this thing to come in for the past 3 weeks. Other people have got it. I still had to wait for mine, and mine just arrived yesterday. Let's talk about the packaging real quick. It comes in this bag, and it is packed really nicely. So, I guess that's cool. The tracking number took a while to get, but hey, that's Kickstarter for you. Anyways, let's grab my dull knife here and open up the packaging. Whoops. Without ripping too much of the bubbles, because that's good stuff. Alright, so here's the box. Left, right, up, down, and back. Very empty, nothing much. Just a barcode on the left side. Alright, so we got a magnetic cover, so that's pretty cool. And let's pull this up. It says immerse yourself with NOLO. Sounds great. Alright, and we'll take a look at that in just a bit. We got some kind of manual here. Alright, so it's in English as well as in Chinese. Pretty cool. We'll take a look at that later on. Quick look at the box here. First, we got a 5V 2A USB charger. We also have a micro USB to a micro USB as well as a micro USB to USB Type-C adapter, some matching brackets. Then we have what seems like a multi-charging cable, some lanyards for the controllers, and finally a very long USB tethering cable. And here's the good stuff right here. So let's take it out and take a look. Oh, this thing's already on. Oh, it turns on pretty quick actually. Just press that button right there. And that is all for the box. Alright, let's take a look here. Alright, so first we have here is the tracking base station. Basically, you put this on your wall and it will track your controllers as well as your headset using that unit. We'll take a look at that in just a bit, but here is some unpeel therapy. Alright, so it's a pretty shiny surface. That's probably where it tracks. Probably some LEDs and infrared going on. Simple logo. And we got a button on the top. And on the bottom here, we have the rubber piece that keeps it from slipping if you have it on a flat surface. In the back, we got a charging port and as well as a button. And I think that's where you change modes. And if you guys can see that, there are two infrared lights right there. So it's kind of like the HTC VIVE base stations. They also have a motor going on as well as some tracking system lasers going on. Now let's take a look at this piece. This is the piece that attaches to your headset. Basically, this goes on top of your headset and you link it up somehow. I'll figure out that later. But this is pretty much what tracks your headset. You put it on your headset, you put it in your phone, and you link it up somehow. I'll figure that out later. And that is what does the tracking for the headset itself in room scale, which means you can move around, you can duck and move around. It's not just rotational and whatnot. And as well as the controllers right there, you can see how they have a similar look to them on the top. And yeah, this one also has a USB on the side for charging probably or powering. Let's see if it has any battery in there. It does not seem like it does, so that's cool. And that's probably where the brackets go, right in here. So you glue the bracket on your headset and then you slide that right in there. And finally, we have the controllers here. So let's take a look at them. Now, let's give them a quick feel test. They do feel very comfortable and they do fit very nicely in the palm of my hands. And the touchpads here are very interesting. They're different from the HTC VIVE. I'll show you guys in just a bit here. But it does have a click, and the click is not really uniform. It kind of feels off in some places here. Like some places it would be easy to click, and some others would be like they're missing, like on the side here. But yeah, we'll find out how these do. So these are like your touchpads. You can move around just like the HTC VIVE. You got a menu button on top, and then a Steam VR menu button, as well as a power button right down here. So if you hold those down, it should turn off. Yep, there we go. And of course, the tracking on there is very interesting. It looks very unique and futuristic, or maybe steampunky. I don't know. We do have some grip buttons as well. That's cool. And we do have them on both sides, so that's interesting. And we have the triggers, of course. And the triggers are just like the HTC VIVE, so they would go down, and then you have a click at the end of it. And finally, at the bottom, we have the USB charging connectors. Alright, so time for some comparisons. Here we have authentic HTC VIVE controllers. Size comparison. This is what they look like. Very different. That's what the tracking system looks like here. That's what the tracking system looks like here. You can see all these little points right here. The tracking points. And the touchpads. Here's a sound difference. Here's the HTC VIVE. And here's the NOLO. So you can hear how inconsistent the clicks are. So this one does feel extremely off. It's kind of dissatisfying, but we'll see how it does. Here's what the triggers sound like on the HTC VIVE. Alright, the triggers here do have a kind of a springy feel to them. And yeah, there's actually nothing much to talk about. Also the side grips, HTC VIVE, NOLO. And finally, here's what the base station looks like compared to the HTC VIVE base station. Alright, so you guys can see the size comparison. Pretty interesting, and that's that. Alright, and we are back. So fast forward about a week and a half now. Kind of a late upload, but here's my experience with it so far. So as you guys can see, we have the Pimax 4K headset right here. And I still have not seen anyone on YouTube using the NOLO VR with the Pimax 4K. And I probably found out why, because I can't get it to work, and it doesn't seem like there are any proper drivers. And there is this one issue that I keep encountering, which is where when I launch NOLO VR with Steam VR, what happens is everything just jumps all over the place, and it looks crazy. I think I should have a video of it somewhere here on the video. And yeah, it just jumps all over the place. The tracking's all over the place. It's really crazy insane. And I can't do anything. But if I do open up the NOLO VR testing app, which they do have a built-in app to test out the tracking, and it works fine. It actually works fairly well. The tracking is on point, everything looks nice, and not much issues, at least from the testing app. But when I try to launch Steam VR, I have some issues. Now I did fix that on the phone side, and it did work, but I still have to tweak my settings before I can get it right. In my case, I use the LG G4 here, which is kind of the sweet spot of mobile VR. It's a 5.5 inch, 1440p, IPS. And yeah, it's a great phone with a great battery life, and I kind of find it great for RiftCat. It's fantastic. But here's something nice about NOLO VR and RiftCat. You have the option to disable your phone gyroscope, which means if you have a phone without a gyroscope or a phone with a horrible gyroscope that always drifts, like this Mi 5, you can completely disable your internal gyro. And you can be working right out of the sky and be good to go. Now, again, I really recommend having a 5.5 inch display for a NOLO VR, or any VR for that matter, and at least 1440p, and those phones are really hard to find. Right now, from my research, the G4 is the perfect phone because it is affordable, it's got those specs, and it's actually a pretty good phone overall. I mean, it's got the camera, it's got a nice display, and battery life, and build quality is really nice, and you can usually find the G4 fully loaded, unlocked, brand new, any color you want for like 150 to 200 US. It's pretty darn cheap. But yeah, so far I'm still testing this thing. I'm really busy with the other channel. And if you guys notice, we have some new props. We have this little nice turning table. So now I can show you things in a way I've never been able to. Just doing this. It's pretty cool. It's pretty handy. And now we have that tech YouTuber plant. Gotta have it, of course. And we got some 3D printed Charmanders that we printed out on the other channel, which are pretty cool. But yeah, so far Pimax not working. I'm waiting for the drivers. For the phone part, stay tuned for that review of the phone side of things for the NOLO VR. I've got a bunch of new headsets coming in for review, so stay tuned for those, and stay tuned for a bunch of new videos coming up for NOLO VR and those headsets. And there's actually one more thing. I was about to wrap this video up when my 3D printer has just finished printing the ceiling mount for the base station here. So I have never test fitted this yet, so let's go ahead and see how it does. So this should go like this, and yeah, that's it. So it actually, I mean, it's kind of scary, but it is still in there, and it is gripping onto the thing. As long as there is no earthquake, you should be fine. Because you can see I'm trying really hard to pull it out, and it's not coming out. So if you just lay it in there, it should be perfectly fine. And granted that you don't knock it out with your controller, so keep that in mind. And the way you mount this is you actually have another piece that you have to print out, and it would look like something like this. So you would mount this on your ceiling somehow, and that should clip in like so in your ceiling, and then you're good to go. And you still have access to the charging port as well as the pairing button. Oh, and I almost forgot, these touchpads, they do feel pretty horrible, especially down here. It feels really mushy, and it doesn't feel like they are clicking anything. It's a complete mess right down here. Up top here, it feels perfectly fine, feels great. And the side over here feels great, but right here, this is where it just goes downhill. It feels springy, it feels horrible. In some places, you get a really small click. Some places, you get a really springy click. And in some places, you get a perfect click. So again, inconsistent touchpad, but we'll give them a chance. So anyways, guys, that is actually pretty much it for this video. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.